It's a little dry over here, so we're all gonna move.
They surrounded us.
They sat in front of us, next to us, and
They
they're
ambushed
behind
us. They ambushed us. Me and Heather are not for this. No.
So you're for going to competition,
Yeah, it's great.
but not being with the band.
I don't want to be with the band.
No,
Okay.
I'm
first
there
off,
to enjoy the bands.
They're high schoolers.
They're high schoolers. They don't shut the fuck up. I am there to see the bands perform and enjoy everything about what marching band is about.
There's a reason Mike played a bard.
So we did get up and move because
Me and Heather were annoyed, and it was not going to happen. Us sitting there.
yeah.
No.
Um,
We're fine sitting next to people, but when you sit around bands, especially high schoolers, they don't shut up. I'm not joking. Like they
Yeah.
talk.
we were all in high
They're
school. We
all
know.
giddy.
Oh,
So you know how
Yeah, we
when
never
you're with
shut
your
up.
friends
But
and
the
you
big
don't
accent,
have
the thing that they had.
like adult supervision, you just talk and you're not respectful for the people around you because you think you're just around your people when in
Fair.
fact you surrounded us. But it's fine.
So
We got up and moved.
got up and moved.
Yep.
It's great.
Went to the other side to sit basically where we were, just mirrored, right?
Yep.
So the other 45, 4 rows down, fine. We didn't really have any issues after that.
Well, thank goodness we moved.
Yes. So,
Why? What happened now?
well, first of all, Heather's a teacher at a school, right? And the band director there knows her. Right? And so during what you're not allowed to come into the stands when bands are performing because it's just a respectful thing, right? You got to wait till they're done performing. Well, the school Heather teaches at all of a sudden is at the bottom of the stairs waiting to come. Yeah.
You just see the names of the school on the
Yep.
back of it, and I
Yep.
point out to Heather. I'm like, "Hey, Heather."
So we're trying to avoid eye contact. The band director, bless his heart, saw Heather and forced them to sit kind of away from us because he understood, like, no.
Well, at least he was cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Like, eventually, the students did
Yeah.
recognize her, and she ended up talking to a few of them and whatnot. So,
Well-
but that it's fine. But we were around other bands, but they weren't like directly near us.
Like we had like other groups around.
yeah,
us
like
that
there was
weren't-
like a band like 3 rows in front of us. I understand because it's the end of the night, you're just trying to like climb in and whatever. But like at 3 o'clock, there was so much space, so much. So it is the band performing before the dinner break. There's a half-hour dinner break at like 5:30, one of the two, right? Have you ever, in movies, like when you're on a plane and like they say, is there a doctor on the plane or a nurse? That happened, Jared.
What do you mean?
They
that happened?
announced over the loudspeaker, if there is a nurse or a medical professional, can you please come up to the judge's box? We may have an emergency.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if there happens to be a doctor or a nurse in the house, if you could please make your way to...
Yeah.
Yes.
Now imagine
Basically.
that, but like a quarter of the speed.
Yeah, because the announcer was, is there a nurse or some sort of
Yeah.
medical
We need a nurse.
professional?
Wow.
Please come to the judge's box at the top of the
So it might
stairs.
as well have been like the stereotypical airplane.
Yes,
pilot.
yeah.
Like,
So
okay.
So we're like, okay, well, that's weird, but shit happens. Kids are rambunctious. Somebody probably fucking got hurt or cut themselves. Who the fuck knows? First responder comes. First responder, another vehicle comes. What's going on? Sirens, ambulance. The fuck is happening?
happened?
I want to let you know that if I'm ever dying from a medical emergency, do not call first responders or anything like that. Just put a bullet in my fucking head because it'd be a lot fucking quicker. We waited 45 minutes. Like it was already the dinner break.
Oh, yeah.
So-
yeah.
So it's fine.
I remember from the fire.
Do you want to take over or should I continue?
Yeah, I think you should
Okay.
because of your love for the elderly.
Okay. Everyone knows I hate old people. So, yeah. So me and Heather were trying to figure out. Me and Heather were trying to figure out what happened. I was like, "Oh, kid probably like cut
I was
himself
too.
or something." Yeah, sorry, Anthony was there, but when me and Heather getting on a tangent, it's just me and her.
By the way, I'm
Yeah,
Anthony
that's fair.
Denney.
I'm sure
Michael Kennedy, and so it's fine. And so we're trying to figure out. I was like, well, a kid probably fell or something, or slipped or something, or cut himself because kids are stupid.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like-
cold.
I'm like, well, what if it's an old person fell and like broke their hip or something like that? We're just trying to go back and forth. We were talking about like dragons and shit and like jumping off because we're up fucking high. It's
Mhm.
like a
stadium?
it's 100-yard drop to the bottom. So they
You fall,
get
you
so
die.
they're and where the emergency happened is like just directly across from us, like basically the highest point you could be on the stadium, 3 rows down. So what we see is them get the chair, right? It's a special chair to help from like moving if you're injured, to walk downstairs with. The oldest fucking first responder I've ever seen helping as well.
No one young was helping.
No one at all.
There were all a bunch of like people who were at least 50 helping.
So then in the ambulance, they get out the stretcher and we're like, oh, so this might actually be serious, guys. Yeah. We finally get to see who it is. Jared, of everything that I have just said about my hatred of old people and someone falling and breaking a hip, can you guess what happened?
Someone fell and broke their hip?
No, an old lady slipped on the bleachers and broke her neck.
I'm sorry, someone died?
No,
is she okay?
No, she's fine.
She was waving.
She was waving like this, but it was very like it was like neck brace and the whole yeah, because the bleachers are slippery. Fucking slipped.
Now, I want
to
let you everyone
basically
know, there were elderly seats in the front.
And it was specifically marked for that reason.
Yeah, for the elderly and probably their
the elderly
families.
people wouldn't go up and get hurt.
Yes,
because it's a long way up.
Yes, and also East Kentwood is liable for this.
Yeah.
So
fun.
Yeah.
And so now after this has all happened, we're all in a different mood.
Yes.
So Mike introduces Heather to the Carfax Fox.
Carfax Fox.
Matter of fact,
I pulled up the clip. She has no context of this.
It was mad.
Oh my gosh! You invite anybody else to this party? Like your mom or the Fox from the Carfax commercial? The Carfax Fox? I had to explain to Heather that lives in my head.
She's like
rent free.
And she's like, "Does he have a robot arm?"
Yes. Because she saw the clip of Billy Quizboy and fucking Pete White sitting there with Rusty. And I was like, Rusty's throwing a lunar eclipse party, and he's trying to invite who is it? Hang on. Christopher Lambert, the Highlander, because he's got a really fancy jumpsuit he wants to show off. And Heather goes, well, does he ever show up? I'm like, he tries to get into the building, but no one's there to answer the door because Rusty gets shot. So she goes, well, good. At least he showed up. I was going to be sad if he didn't show up. I'm just going to help and die laugh because he's Carfax.
I love that this whole story of an old woman breaking her fucking neck at a concert and getting pissed off at high schoolers was a big loop around from Mike to go off.
No,
again about the Carfax.
What happened was because there was an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, I got loopy.
He got too loopy.
I got two. I got unfocused because and that brought the Carfax.
At that point, we were not getting up and moving because we were too far from the bathrooms, too far away from the food, and we weren't.
So I needed to be entertained every like 15 minutes. Like a band would perform, there'd be like a 5-minute break while the other band's taking the field, and then in between classes there would be like a 15-minute break, and that's fine. But when you give me 45 minutes to stand around and do nothing, it's a Carfax Fox. You don't come out.
Welcome to the first 10 minutes of this show.